So 3 months ago now, I made a video talking about 3 years worth of crypto gaming knowledge in about an hour. The ultimate play to earn NFT token list. It's been 3 months. The meta has changed. Gaming has gone a little bit out of favor. Some plays have done better than others. I want to touch base on, now that we're entering 2025 here, my thoughts not only on this list, but on the current state. I mean, you see a ton of tabs open here, as well as if, of course, I were a beginner, what would I be looking at? How many tokens would I be buying, etc. I hope you enjoy this kind of content. I come from a background very much in gaming. I was challenger in League of Legends, led guilds in Arcade, have really gone down the deep end. I was going to college for economics before I left it all to go ahead and double down on the cryptocurrency industry years ago. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Now, I want to start off this video by just going over very quickly the tier list that we went ahead and created. Instead of just developing a new one, let's just touch base on what's already happened. Now, in terms of the God mode plays, I still do maintain Aether as a God mode play. Here's the deal. There is going to inevitably be a ton of token inflation on here. However, this isn't really a token buy play. This is a node play. If you got into the nodes, you're practically at ROI. If prices maintain in around April-ish. Right now, Aether offers a lot of opportunities for people that get in terms of their token airdrops on partnered projects, staking, and really many other avenues of whitelist for other node projects. So I still think Aether was an excellent play and definitely do not regret putting in a pretty large amount of capital into Aether. IMX. Now, IMX got one game that is very good. It's called Raven Quest. It's the second token here I'm talking about. Now, Raven Quest, I like as a game. Not really sure how it's going to be bringing a lot of volume to IMX, but IMX does seem to be trying, and in terms of a grandfather play of crypto gaming, IMX will stay there. Ronin seems to be gaining a bit of ground in this downturn. It seems like whenever we have some sort of downturn in the crypto market, Ronin continues to outperform. Right now, Mokis that I've sized into quite a lot, these are NFTs, are doing very well. People are in airdrop season. Ronin has partnered with some of the most bullish projects in the space. And so God mode is an easy rating for Ronin. Now, in terms of the GigaChad section, we have Star Atlas, which is the leader of Solana. If Solana Gaming is going to make it, Star Atlas is going to make it. We have AXS, which AXS staking rewards are actually pretty good. If you're trying to look for a bit of play for Ronin, then AXS is that, but I would, of course, just buy Ronin. We have Beam over here. Recently did a node sale, raised tens of millions of dollars. We picked up quite a few ourselves. I think Beam is going to perform very well. They still have a very large treasury. Amazing play for crypto gaming if you're looking for that next A16Z, that next Animoca. Now we have Prime over here with Parallel. I think Prime will continue to do very well. They're practically the adjacent to Hearthstone. Hearthstone is a big card game in the traditional gaming space. They have gotten that die-hard community, Magic the Gathering style. So I think they're going to continue to do well. And AI is a very big narrative. It's going to continue to be big. So they're going to be taking advantage of that. Floki was a meme coin. Meme coins were going crazy. I'm not as bullish on meme coins anymore, but I think meme coins will still continue to do well. I just don't understand it, so I'm not going to try to pretend to understand it. We have Games for a Living, which I think probably would go a tier under. Not as exciting of a play. We have Carrot. Carrot is an interesting one because during downturns in the market, it's going to be a bad play. They have token inflation. It started in October. It's just something that's going to be hindering it this entire bull cycle. However, I do like the fact that they're an ecosystem play. I do like the fact that they have Becker, many of the biggest creators on there. And I do like the fact that it seems like they understand crypto Twitter culture. So when the markets for gaming bounce up, I think they're going to be one of the plus EV plays. It's just whenever the market is the way it is today, it's just going to continue to trend down. So I do still maintain this. We have Mythos, which I'm a little bit whatever about. Notcoin was just pumping because of the meta at the moment with Telegram coins. I'm not a big fan of the whole Ton coin narrative at all, so definitely bumping them down. We have 9 Heroes, which hasn't really done the craziest pump, but has done a bit of a recovery. I like 9 Heroes. It's a good game. They just have to really shock the world with their next iteration, so we'll see what comes with that. We have Crown. Crown is going to do well. You've got the horse racing narrative. It's a pretty goated stuff. Pirate Nation. Pirate Nation has been letting down their community a little bit. I've been seeing just a bit of FUD on the interwebs. I had talked and I also played with Pirate Murdoch. He's someone that interacts with the Pirate Nation community very often. And while I would probably bump it down a tier, I still think it very much could do well with the Coinbase narrative if they kind of get their bucks in a row and get the community hyped up again. Scale definitely would bump back down. We have Super, which Super is going to do very well. It's just pumped a lot. It's pumped a lot. So at this point, don't expect too many X's, but it's done very well so far. Wilder ended up going up like 4X since this post. It's done extremely well. I actually think it is the god mode of the Metaverse plays, but Metaverse plays just aren't very hyped, so I'll maintain Giga Chads. We have Xborg, which has done extremely well, hit new all-time highs. It is the DEX-only meta beginner. It is going to continue to do very well, more than likely. They understand the crypto Twitter game. We have Altura here, which did end up pumping a lot, actually, a ton. They are doing infrastructure for IMX, so they're going to continue to do well. But most of the pump has already happened, so don't just buy it thinking that it's just going to keep going up magically. We have Ancient 8, which was that optimism play. They also were doing pretty well for a while, but I haven't really heard of them in a while, so not really sure what's going on there. We have Aurori, which I would just probably rather get into Star Atlas, so I guess we'll leave it there, but I think Star Atlas is a better play than Aurori at this stage. We have Bloodloop, which Bloodloop is getting ready for their next version to come up, so we'll see what the reception is. If people are hyped for it. They also have crafting nodes. I'm big into nodes, so I have gone ahead and dug in. If the game gets popularity, these crafting nodes are going to be very profitable. Similar to Off the Grid, which I'll get into a little bit later. They're the most hyped game in all of Web3 right now. Bloodloop, very much have to wait and see, but AVAX as a narrative is strong. We have Chromia, which Chromia is okay. It's okay. I'd probably put it on the okay. We have Cornucopia, which actually had a really solid run when Cardano started running. They are a Cardano adjacent gaming play, the biggest gaming play in Cardano. Good job for them. I mean, I was telling those guys to get out of Cardano, but they stayed and seems like it's paying off for them. We have Engines of Fury, which, it's okay. It's got that Citus narrative on it. Citus does well. Maybe some of its launchpad plays will do well. We have Fusionist, which also kind of whatever. It's on Binance, so it wants to pump, but we'll see what the inflation is. We have Game, which is okay. We have Hytopia. Hytopia, I think, will likely do pretty well in quarter one. They haven't done much marketing, so it really depends on if they feel like doing marketing and spending money on marketing, but it seems like the progress they've actually made on Hytopia and the underlying ecosystem, while it's not amazing, it just feels undervalued. We have Mont Protocol. Mont Protocol had a ton of hype back in the day. Hasn't really done too much. Just been chilling out. So we'll see what happens there. But they do have some solid partnerships with a lot of games. We have Miria here. They were thought of as the next Gala. It seems like they're kind of just doing nothing right now. I'm assuming they're doing a lot of things, but Miria as a token has done actually pretty well. It's just kind of maintained its range, had an enormous pump earlier this year. I have Miria nodes. I've already gotten my money back on Miria nodes, so I'm very happy with whatever direction happens here because I've already gotten my money back. We have Nakamoto Games, the gambling niche, gambling stuff. Don't really touch the gambling stuff, but they were doing really well earlier in the cycle. I don't see anything about them these days, so I don't touch. We have Bytes over here from Neo Tokyo. We have Alex Becker as a narrative. We have Launchpads coming back up. Eventually, when gaming comes up, I think they'll do well, just like Cetify. So the same comparison with Cetify. We have Pixels. I would definitely lower this one. Pixels Online. Ronin has been struggling with their tokens. Their inflation doesn't really make a lot of sense. The guys making money inside of Pixels, the missions are a little bit too crazy. Just a little bit too crazy for the amount of people actually sizing in back into the ecosystem. They'll likely mess around with these numbers and then we'll get a pump on them. But right now it doesn't make too much sense, but it will likely make sense in the future if you understand what I'm talking about. We have Playable here. Playable, family run team, AVAX narrative. If AVAX takes off, Playable will do well. We have Corpo here. Corpo also looks like it's kind of just been steady. So we'll kind of see what happens there. Citus is doing well right now. We have Star Heroes. Star Heroes right now is in a bit of a limbo. We'll see if GameSwift comes back, but I'm not too confident on this play. We have WAGMI, which did their global release. I believe it was the 12th of this month. I might be wrong of the date, but I think it's the 12th. It looks good. It looks good. It's a tower defense game at the end of the day. Their chart is very odd. It goes up, it goes down quite drastically. So not really sure what's going on there. but I do like the team behind it, so I'm kind of like neutral to bullish on Wagami Games. We have Zai, which in terms of their token distribution, not doing very well, but in terms of the node holders, they did very well. So if you were a node holder, you were very happy with Zai. And then Zentry, which I'm going to be talking about in this video, they are absolutely killing it right now. And so, you know, everybody else on this list, I mean, it's going to be way too long of a video if I go through literally everything. But I wanted to go through the first couple tiers here to kind of break down what I was really bullish on, where my head is at right now, whether or not my thought process has changed on a lot of these. You know, a lot of them are kind of the same old, kind of just waiting for that big announcement. You know, this tier at the end of the day was called, you know, you want to pump. These are tokens that I felt like had the potential to pump, but, you know, we don't really know what's going to go ahead and happen there. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the current news in the crypto gaming space, where my eyes are at in terms of the next runners, in terms of opportunities within the market. Let's get into it. So the first one is Zentry. Now, Zentry, of course, this is during a time where Bitcoin is at $92,000, has had a bit of a correction. It's been doing really well. It's up 38% on the month. Actually had a pretty large run when Bitcoin started to show recovery. This is one of those cryptocurrencies showing a lot of strength. If you're someone that enjoys farming airdrops, you're on Twitter, you're on X, you love staking, you like the whole airdrop farming shenanigans, you're going to love what Zentry is building. They have Nexus. It's a platform that rewards people for going ahead and interacting with posts. I am a Zentry tier 4 watcher, likely going to increase this drastically over the course of the next coming month or so. Have a lot of tokens on Zentry here. One of my biggest positions in crypto. You go ahead, hop onto Nexus here, and you do posts. You get these charges. These charges will one day become Zentry tokens, or I guess Ronin tokens, depending on what you're farming. And that's the end of it all. The TLDR, they have a big community. They want to activate it. They have Nexus. But for me, it's not Nexus that I'm bullish on. It's Radiant. It's some of the other things that they're building, their AI agent that's going to assist people inside of their game. That's what's actually making me bullish on Zentry. And what I think that the market isn't pricing in. People are right now buying Zentry to go ahead and stake for Nexus. But really what you shouldn't be buying Zentry for Nexus. If you're buying Zentry for Nexus, you're playing it wrong. These guys have an absolutely enormous treasury. I mean, their treasury is practically the size of their market cap right now. And that is very large, extremely large, almost unseen in the crypto gaming space. So a little bit of, at least I think, a market mispricing that's happening right now on Zentry. If you want to farm it, I'll have the link in the description for Nexus, but still to me, an interesting little opportunity to tap into crypto gaming. We have Aether, which is continuing. This is one of the node plays we got in pretty heavy. Is continuing to give exclusive token airdrops for their checker node holders, and they're adding native tokens to Aether staking pools as extra rewards on top of the weekly staking earnings. I maintain that it was most profitable to stake during the first couple months of Aether's lifeline. If you're staking right now, you're really taking a much larger risk. Now in quarter one, staking isn't the smartest idea in the world. I would rather people hold their tokens liquid rather than kind of lock them up. Very big moves are going to be coming. Very big drops are going to be coming. So you just want to have your tokens out there. Don't really have them staked. But if you were someone that capitalized on this opportunity, then you have this to look forward to. Other ones, Sofon mainnet arrived back in December 18th. This is also one of the crypto gaming plays we went pretty deep on. They're trying to be an entertainment sector, have very close ties to Beam. These guys are starting their node rewards in January 1st. If you're someone that got into Sofon from us, then congratulations, because Binance Labs got into that one, and it looks pretty exciting to me. The node rewards are coming very soon, so make sure you're KYCing and actually getting into these. We have Earnum, which TGE didn't do the best in the world, but at the end of the day, it's about that initial merge offering, that idea that they're doing an IMO with a token that's much larger, Storm XIO. I think it's an interesting idea. I like their revenue model. It's just all about what happens after that merge that matters to me. We have over here Mizari talking about DeepIn and the fact that 2024 marked a breakout year for DeepIn, with the sector's total market cap surging by 132% year over year to over $40 billion. DeepIn is growing very quickly. Crypto gaming plays that utilize DeepIn are going to be doing well, and that's why I maintain that the node meta is just going to grow and grow and grow. We have Moonveil over here back in November 23rd. This is one of our node plays. These guys went ahead and raised $10 million in sales. Also got that Polygon backing. They're going to be doing excellent. Far Away, which I will more than likely get into this node sale. They are doing a node sale. They have a little AI agent called Jeff, and Jeff is doing very well. I'm not an AI agent guy, so I'm not going to pretend to like look at the chart here, but they have some pretty cool games. My favorite one being Shatterline. Shatterline, though, from what I've seen so far, it's just a bunch of sweats playing. So not sure how that's going to translate to a bunch of volume in trading or speculation. We have Wilder World here, which created, this was actually an absolutely enormous update here for Wilder World. They did their gameplay reveal earlier this month, and I thought it was really sick. They are finally teasing their open world element, their shooter. A lot of people have been looking for this, and Wilder World actually had an enormous pump. Continuing to hold Wilder. I sold a little bit, just a tiny bit when we hit 90 cents. But I am holding a vast majority of my bag, so full disclosure there. We have Super Champs with TGE. We actually farmed this. I've made several videos. I actually made videos talking, and this is, I think people are a little bit confused about this. If you're someone that watches my videos and you see the title says, make $100 a day playing crypto games, this is kind of what I was talking about. I sized in about $3,000 worth of Super Champs NFTs before their TGE, before this token launched, and I farmed it for about 2 months. During these 2 months, I made much more, multiples more in terms of my money. So I made about $9,000 in total, including the NFTs. I ended up selling the NFTs about where I bought them after this token pump. And the playbook was not to sell immediately. If you sold immediately, you would have lost. I think the era of selling the second that this thing TGEs or the second that tokens TGE, these companies are getting really smart. They're waiting for people to go ahead and dump. Airdrop farmers are getting punished. If you're someone that farms airdrops and you dump early, you are going to be punished, because after this happened, this token died for a little bit and it absolutely skyrocketed. They pumped the marketing engines and they did very well. I already sold all of my Super Champs, but this is kind of that playbook that I've been talking about for quite some time, where playing the TGEs after a couple days tends to have the best results. Of course, you don't always get the greatest results in the world. I think Noob was a great example for me. I didn't do very well in this play. So fully transparent here. I'm not a 100% hit rate kind of guy. I do get plays wrong. But for most of the time, if the team has marketing sense, you're going to do pretty well post TGE after a couple days. We have AVAX here. AVAX had a big upgrade. They had Avalanche 9000. Avalanche 9000 pretty much makes it extremely cheap for people to develop L1s. This means more crypto games are going to be making nodes. More nodes equals more opportunities to get in early, and more than likely more tokens that are going to be created on Avalanche. If we have Avalanche games that are successful, which I think Off the Grid will be, then Avalanche as an ecosystem will continue to grow, and it will be a very good thing for Avalanche. So I think a lot of crypto gaming success in 2025 will lie on Avalanche's ability for its L1s to actually get enough players for the overarching vision of a top 10 AVAX making sense, right? So Off the Grid, it's that next gen free-to-play extraction royale. To me, it's my favorite crypto game by far. I've actually played a ton of it, over 100 hours of Off the Grid. I own a couple nodes, but nothing really meaningful in terms of an investment. Right now, Off the Grid, it's in a bit of a limbo mode where most of its Web3 participants, like you and me, aren't playing it. In fact, I've seen crypto Twitter get pretty quiet. However, when I hop on Off the Grid, when I play Off the Grid myself, I see the games almost fill up instantly, which means to me, Off the Grid is not marketing for Web3. They're marketing straight to Web2. This is going to be an interesting experiment. These guys have a lot of money. They've already tested with Shroud, Ninja, XQC, some of the biggest streamers out there. We'll see if a primarily Web2 launch ends up translating to a pretty enormous TGE. If you're curious, the token for Off the Grid is called Guns. If you're curious about getting nodes, you can't get a nodes anymore. Yeah, unfortunately, they already did their public sale. So if you missed it, you missed it. You kind of got to get it next time, right? And then this Guns token, more than likely, what I assume, this is not confirmed, so don't take me as like gospel, but I believe Q1 2025 will be that time for Play Off the Grid to go ahead and take advantage of a TG on its Guns token. So that's kind of what I'm looking for a big moment on AVAX Q1. Other things, we have Ronin NFTs, which are beginning to run, and just Ronin in general. For example, Zentry has gone ahead and partnered with Ronin. That's why you saw on Nexus this little Ronin charge right here. They have a validator that has a heck of a lot of volume on it. I'm assuming that there's some kind of airdrop that's going to be dropped on this, which is why I also am staking on their validator. Something you should know about Ronin is they are very much capitalizing on this downturn in the market. I actually very recently got into these Mokis, right? And these Mokis have been cooking. I mean, they're absolutely cooking. 97 Ronin per Moki. I think they started at like 55. So these are up 2x from their initial pricing, which is really good. I mean, that's some really solid pricing. They had this post December 27th. It said, "It's closer than you think." And they have also gone ahead and teased that they're going to be doing some kind of airdrop. They also had Jiho here saying, "Ask me about my Mokis." So I'm presuming here that we're getting something very soon for Moki. This post aged very well, 75 RON all the way up to 97. So we'll see where it ages from here. But I have definitely gone and picked up quite a few of these. I'm not saying I got like a ridiculous amount, but I have sized into quite a bit of these little Mokis here. We have Grayscale here updating its top 20 crypto assets for Q1 of 2025. They added Hype, ENA, Virtual, Jupiter, Jito, and Grass. What I found interesting is no gaming plays. So pretty unfortunate. We got no gaming plays here. The institutional masses do not care about gaming right now. Gaming is just too small for these big institutions to really care. So what it means to me is either we have the most undervalued niche in crypto, or we are in a bit of trouble. and I kind of agree with both takes. We do have to have some crypto game in 2025 absolutely take off if our industry is going to continue to have any sort of relevancy. It has to be off the grid. It has to be MapleStory Universe, Shatterline. You know, one of these games, they're going to have to take off. So we'll see what ends up being that game to take off. Raven Quest has already had some pretty good reception. One of those games will have to take off for a Grayscale for some of these big institutions to take note. Also, something interesting that I went ahead and saw, AI, DeFi. It's all AI and DeFi. So if you're big into DePIN I think is going to continue to be huge. For example, with Aether, the big reason I was bullish on Aether is they had a gaming fund and they also had a ton of AI partners. So while the gaming side didn't really take off, most people ended up staking over to AI. AI killed it. So you would have done pretty well hedging with both. So if you get into an AI times gaming play, you're properly hedged for whatever is going to come probably. We also have Wanderers here, which said the word token. And that's pretty much it. Said it on December 19th. And then we also have here, check your Wanderers rank. If you're someone that played Wanderers, you check this website out. If you engage with Wanderers, the game, you might be eligible. I'm thinking probably Q1. If he said token, Q1 is going to be around that time that you'd want to do that launch. A lot of tokens are wanting to launch around that time. They're backed by Animoca brands. So Animoca's just been killing it recently. I presume that they are going to get the proper knowledge that they're going to get for a proper token launch. So we have AI16Z, which also has been absolutely destroying the markets. I mean, look at this crazy price gain. They're $1.88 billion. AI virtual agents are going to be a big narrative for 2025. The games that properly integrate AI agents, I think, are going to do really well. We haven't really seen it yet at all. We've seen projects try to do it, but no projects that have taken off at all, because we haven't really had a crypto game take off, have integrated an AI agent. So look for an AI agent on a crypto game that is remotely popular. And my friends, if you're someone that's not already following my Twitter, because I post this alpha much before I make these videos, you should probably be following my Twitter. And last but not least, just the gaming markets overall, $24 billion right now. Very spicy time, kind of a bit of a downturn, kind of boring. Now, last but not least, before I leave you, I am going to be talking about if I was a beginner, if I had $5,000 or something like that, what would I put my eggs on? Well, I would allocate probably around 10 to 20% into nodes. I believe nodes are a solid long-term prospect. However, I would want an unlock on these nodes. So I'd want like 10 to 15% on TGE. And I would also like vesting to not be very high. Very high vesting is not a good thing in this current market. Or I would like it to be based on the performance of the game, and I would want to pick a high conviction game. The next thing I'd want to get into is one of the big boys. So Ronin right now seems very attractive. Avax right now seems exciting, much higher market cap. We also have other plays like Prime, which have that AI adjacent narrative to it. Carrot also has the AI adjacent narrative to it as well. We have other ones like Wilder World, which I believe will do very well. They have a metaverse narrative. Of course, we got in at 20 cents. It's at 67 cents. So do your own research. Don't just buy in at a much higher price than I have. We have other ones like Zentry, which I believe have the current narrative. Maybe you don't want to hold it for the next 3 years, but in terms of the current narrative, they're very hot. They have a lot of attention. They have that Ronin partnership. They've got Travala. I believe that when they announce the rest of their utilities, which they already have, just people don't really know about it, they're going to continue to do very well. There's some of these older legacy plays that I wouldn't really look at all. But overall, for the current plays, that's kind of where my head is at. I wouldn't really be getting into the sandbox. I wouldn't really be getting into stuff like Gala that has clearly moved on from crypto gaming, or plays like probably EXS at this point. I would rather just buy the underlying ecosystem plays, and that's going to be the narrative. Infrastructure right now is getting most of the funding from venture capitals. It's getting a vast majority of the funding from venture capitals. So you're going to want to bet on these infrastructure projects. Maybe they get more raises, maybe they get more hype. If they can prove themselves, they're going to do very well. So infrastructure plays are the wave for 2025. AI agents will be very hot in 2025 and beyond. They're going to have their moment to shine. They're going to have their moment to correct and stabilize. But overall, AI, gaming, DeepIn, as well as, of course, infrastructure plays are going to be the wave for the 2025 bull run. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, stay classy, and that's all.